What happened?
And will cause him to come near unto him. Even him whom he hath chosen will he cause to come near unto him. This do, take you censors, Korah, and all his company.
Now, notice what he said. He doesn't call everybody out. He deals with the ringleader. He says Korah and who?
All his company.
Now, these people once they was property of God, but as soon as they started following Korah, they became the property of Korah. Now you see how God is able to judge. Why? Because he said, you're no longer mine.
Come on, Pastor.
You have removed yourself from the privilege of being mine. Now watch this. You are now, because you're following him, you are now looking to Korah to save you.
My God.
And Korah limited. So anything that God's about to get done, Korah can't stop it from, he can't even stop it happening to himself. You got to be so careful, ladies and gentlemen, when you got friends and family, loved ones, people doing different things. You got to be careful before you submit to what they want to do. Because you got to say, look, I am his. I am not yours. Because the minute I start following you outside the will of God, I am now becoming yours. You have now became my Lord. Look how easy this was. God. Keep going, babe.
And put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord doth choose, he shall be holy. Ye take too much upon you, ye sons of Levi.
Now they came to Moses, you taking too much on you. He said, no, I'll tell you what, you taking too much on you. Now, I truly believe what Moses is talking about is not what they were talking about. Because now Moses had what understanding? I am saved from my enemies. He says, now you came up against us, but in reality, you coming up against God. And now, watch this. This is awesome. Look what he did. Remember I told you, you cannot wish bad or pray bad on someone? Moses went straight to his face, which is a position of being prostrate, which shows when you lay on your face in prayer, different than your knees, you're showing God, I can't go any lower. What Moses did was to make sure, let me check my heart. I'm on my face. We don't know how long he laid there. Somebody in the crowd probably, what is he doing? He said, I'm making sure I'm right.
That's right.
I'm making sure my heart is clear. But when he gets up, he knows exactly what God's plan is. God, do you not see this? So when Moses was laying on his face, he heard something.
Yes, he did.
And once he got up, he did what we read in Ezekiel 3. He now heard from God and declared God.
Come on.
They were declaring themselves, and they sidebar conversation. He was declaring what he heard and God. Now, what did he do? Became God representative. Yes. He said, this is what God finna do. This is how he gonna prove it. They're not recognizing that this man is telling you what God is finna do. Now, if this stuff start happening in sequence, he's showing you. He's the one hearing from God. You are not. They can't even catch it. Watch this.
And Moses said unto Korah, hear, I pray you, ye sons of Levi, seemeth it but a small thing unto you.
Underline that. He says, seemeth it but a what thing? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to help you understand something. You may not think it's fair until you find yourself in this same situation. You may think it's a small thing, just to make a simple comment. I don't see why they always, you better. I promise you this. You would never be able to say, I won't even do this with my wife. If I disagree with Apostle Tubb, if I think something different, she won't even know about it. I'll bring it before God. Because I understand what this is. I'm not away from it too. So I can't just, why he doing this? Babe, what you think? He should have been. He said, it seemed but a small thing to you. You can make a little simple comment and bring something upon your household and you wonder why you going through something. And this is what you got to recognize too. When Miriam, Moses' own sister, talked against his wife, guess what God did? He struck her with leprosy, and the only way she can get delivered, he said, I'm not going to do it. Moses got to pray for you. You know how humbling it is to go through something, and I don't care who you ask to pray for you, the person who you talked about is the only one God's going to listen to get what's off you that done hit you.
That's right.
And this is what you got to understand. When God put you in those situations, you can't go with, if I did anything. No, you got to be specific. Because you come to me with, if I did anything, I just want to say, I'm sorry. What did you do? I need to see if you really repent. Because you really repented, you should go straight out. You say, man, I was talking about you. I was talking about your dog. I was talking about your cat. I was talking about this. And I was talking about that. I didn't know, that bad, but now I see. But somebody said, well, I did some stuff. I done had this happen. I said, well, they ain't learned yet. I don't pray that it stop. Because what's the point of the go through is not to exalt me. The point of the go through is to get their hearts to yield to God's will for their life. That's why I told you, say, let this be a seed sown toward their salvation.
That's right.
Go ahead.
That the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel.
Now, he said, look, you're separated now. You see how this worked? As soon as they went into that, God himself separated them from his. And Moses is explaining to them what's going on. But this is also what's sad to me. While he's talking, they had the opportunity to repent. This can stop right now. We can stop at this verse, and then the last verse say, more and Korah them got it right. It could read that. The heart of man.
To bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them. Now,
do you know who Korah was? Korah was part of the tribe of Levi.
Yes,
tribe of Levi was who? The priest.
The priest.
It's people in ministry. People in ministry. We ain't even talking about somebody on the outside. We ain't talking about the other tribes. This was the ministerial tribe. So I could be the youth pastor, then I speak against the senior pastor. God ain't gonna just say, oh, you know what, you've been leading these kids real good. I'm gonna overlook that. These were people that was working in ministry for God. Separated because they were having these sidewalk conversations, heart tainted. Keep going. Yes.
And he hath brought thee near to him, and all the brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee. And seek ye the priesthood also. For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron, that ye murmur against him?
Now, notice what he says in verse 11. It's so powerful. He says, and your company has gathered together against the Lord. But when we read in verse 3, it says they came against Moses and Aaron. But Moses explained to them, no, you came against you and your company. Y'all just approached God. And by the way, what did Aaron do to y'all? Don't you not know? Let me help you with this. The spirit of Korah not only wants to take over, but it will also have an attitude with those who stand in agreement with those that's walking right. So you'll have people get mad at you because you stand up for what's right. He said, Aaron didn't do nothing to you. Why y'all got a problem with Aaron? I'm the one who's been doing most of the preaching and teaching. And what Aaron do? He with you.
Yeah, pretty much.
You sure? You want to stand in agreement with, I'm telling you. So some of these bullets start flying. You're like, well, fast on with you, these bullets start flying. And those of you who want God to use you, this is what you're saying. You're prepared for this to happen to you over and over. Don't you know you're going to be misunderstood? Don't you know the enemy's going to set people hard against you? And the only thing you try to do is help them. But they're going to get a company together and say, well, this is what we think. He said, for real? Well, Pastor, you said this. It offended me. And so-and-so offended. So-and-so offended. And this person offended. So you done offended a lot of people. So evidently you had to be wrong. Like, I said ketchup 3 times. How that offensive? Because we talked about it. And what we think is you should have said mustard when you said ketchup. Because God speaks to us too. So, okay.